Hello and welcome to this AimHi Live. This one is about what's the science of déjà vu? The title is twice because that's what déjà vu is. Thanks so much for coming. If this is your first time, then you can ask questions whenever you want. Just throw your questions into the chat, and because basically I'm going to talk about the science of déjà vu, but it will also go on lots of mysterious tangents. So if you want to drag it on a different tangent by asking a good question, go for it. That is how Kieran's saying I caught his attention with this one. Loads of people already here, so I'll just say hi to a few people. Oliver's here. I don't know how to pronounce your name is here. Kieran's here. Max is here. Thanks so much for coming. Get Out of the Freezer is here. LDBR, Rebecca Carmen. Hi all. I'm just going to go on to the first scene. Amy's saying some tangents. There will be some and no more. Today, as I said, is about what's the science of déjà vu. So firstly, before we get into this, I really does anyone have any really memorable moments of déjà vu? And if so, could you type it into the chat? Because I'd love to hear about some of your moments that you've had of déjà vu. Because I've had some pretty crazy ones. But what are you guys? Does anyone have any stories? And maybe you don't, because another thing about déjà vu is that it always feels really significant at the time, and then afterwards you're like, was that actually significant? And for those who don't know what déjà vu is the experience when you are completely certain that you've experienced this thing before. So if anyone is watching this lesson and they're like, I have seen this word for word before, and we're not talking about remembering something similar to it that you're like, oh, that could be a bit similar. It's an experience where you're absolutely certain that you have seen or experienced this exact thing exactly the same before, or that you know. So I've got some things. I've got some comments coming in. Lily's saying that she was confused about my Instagram story this morning and then realised it was a joke about a déjà vu. Yes, I just put up the same Instagram story over and over again. So Get Out of the Freezer's got a story saying, when I was riding over my bike over a ramp in my street and my friend's dad did a wheelie and I got really angry because I couldn't do it. Okay, but were you getting déjà vu at the same time? Like, was it an experience that you felt that you definitely had before? So Jeff saying that they predicted they were going to miss a penalty and then they did. Rebecca's saying, dreaming about a conversation that they had. A conversation that you had no idea that you would have no way of knowing it was gonna happen, and then you experience it a week later. And then OMHNPH Omniper saying, when I went to my friend's attic for the first time, it was so weird. I'd never seen it, never been in there before, and yet experienced it as if having gone into the attic before. Okay, so this is the amazing thing about déjà vu, is that it's this experience that you're absolutely certain has happened before. And I'm going to explain why that happens. Anyway, before I do, because obviously we're going to end up on some tangents, can anyone see what this is? What is this? What's this? And Rebecca Carmen's saying that she's got a friend who's never had déjà vu. So that's another thing, is that some people have never experienced déjà vu. It's not something that's totally universal to everyone. I've seen some stats online where they seem pretty dodgy, saying about how, because it's one of the ones I saw said that only about 5% of people experience déjà vu, and I don't think it's that low. I think a lot more people get it. Amy Sum is saying it's a prince. Exactly, it's a prince. This is a frog. Running on a running wheel. Now, does anyone know what is strange about this frog or froge? What is strange about this frog running on this running wheel? Why is this unusual? What do you guys reckon? Xenon saying seems normal. Yeah, know what you mean. Rebecca Cohen's saying frogs don't run. And Maddie's saying, should we say everything in the chat twice? Yes. And Catherine's saying, is there some reason for such a low percentage of people who seem to experience déjà vu? Yeah, I don't know. It seems strange to me. I was a bit skeptical of the figure that I saw. Japan people saying that this frog must be exercising, and there's nothing untoward about that, and I think that's totally reasonable. And Get Out of the Freezer has already tried sending the same message twice and it won't let you. Okay, so yes, this frog running on this running wheel is running voluntarily because it wants to. This running wheel is set up, this was set up by some Dutch researchers in the Netherlands who set up a running wheel just in the wild, and they filmed it because they wanted to get an idea of how much would animals want to play. So if you just gave wild animals a running wheel in the middle of nowhere and you just left it there, then would there be animals that would keep coming back and keep wanting to play? Now, they saw a frog once, which was great, but possibly just because the frog got lost. And there was another animal that they saw twice, which was a slug, which again, I don't really... the slug was also probably lost. But there was one animal that kept coming back over and over again, and it was this, and you would get the same one of each animal like returning over and over again. What do you think it was? What do you guys reckon is the animal that kept coming back to this running wheel in the wild to play on it? This totally open wheel that had no bars around it or anything. Animals could just come and voluntarily play on it if they wanted to. And Leonardo's saying, why is Matt not here? Leonardo, I am there, but maybe you have to hit play. Although you won't be able to hear this, because... Anyway. Okay, Gemma Freezer saying elephant. Yeah, I really wish that was true. And Lily's saying a vole or a shrew, or Fatima's saying me. Yeah, running wheels are so fun, aren't they? I love running wheels. But I don't know why I was thinking about a running wheel. Perhaps just the fact that you repeat the same image over and over again, and that is kind of like deja vu because it just goes round and round and round. But yeah, the animals that would return to this running wheel in the wild were mice. So mice will come and play voluntarily just because they want to on a running wheel if you leave it in the wild. And I was trying to find an image of a mouse, and I kept coming across this thing called the National Mouse Club, which is a UK-based club where they have they give out certificates for like the best marked mouse and stuff. Anyway, I wanted to put up an image for you, but almost every single image has got these huge letters over it by this woman who's obviously won the National Mouse Club prize over and over again, and she's just like, do not use my images. So I haven't used them. Anyway, so yeah, I think I just wanted to start with that just because I was thinking about the deja vu of if you were running around a running wheel and you'd see the same thing over and over again. And before I'm going to talk to you about deja vu in just a second. I'm just aware that some people are still arriving because the numbers are still going up. But so just before I start, just one more thing. Do you guys know, I don't know if you guys do music, but do you guys know what note or what key houseflies all hum in? So when houseflies are all like humming around the house, what key do you reckon it's in? If you were to play a piano key, which one would sound most in tune? Jeff's plunged in with C sharp. Miz is going for B minor. The real Joe's saying C. No one's got it. Sorry, real Joe being Maddie. In fact, Maddie's just pumped out loads of answers, so Maddie has got it. It is F. Yeah, so if you were to assemble a choir of houseflies, then you would just get a really homogeneous like F chord. I found this image on a site that I was convinced was called Pets World. Because I'm quite dyslexic, and so I muddle up letters quite a lot. And I was really excited. I was like, wow, people are getting houseflies as pets. This is great. But then I realised that I just got the S and the T the wrong way around, and I just can't read. But anyway, for a while I was really excited that houseflies as pets was like catching on, and it was going to be a thing. Right, okay, it is time to talk about deja vu. I'm going to start explaining this to you. Firstly, what I want you guys to do, okay, we're going to play a bit of a game. Now, you might have this object nearby to you, the one that I'm about to talk to you about, and if you do have this nearby, don't look at it. Don't look at it. And if you can get like a pencil and paper, that's great, but don't worry if you can't, because you can also just do this by thinking about it. But so I'm about to reveal the object, and what I want you to do is either draw it on a piece of paper from memory, or kind of picture it in your mind. So I'm gonna, yeah. So I'm just gonna give you a few moments to just kind of try to remember what this object looks like. Now, this is an object that all of you and all of us will have seen many, 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 many times, and I want to see how accurately you think you can come up with the details of what it looks like, and I'm going to do the same thing about one in my house, and I have not looked at one. Right, okay, what I want you all to do is draw a fire alarm, ideally one in your house. So try drawing a fire alarm inside your house. I'm going to do the same. And again, this is something that everyone's seen so many times. And you think, I feel like there's something there. Oh, sorry, I mean a smoke detector. I absolutely mean a smoke detector being the same thing. Sorry, as in something that will go off when it detects fire. Okay, so that is my smoke detector. And someone's saying, is that a finger? Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, right. I'm now going to really quickly look at the fire alarm outside my door while you guys continue to visualize yours. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Right, now obviously, sorry I took a little bit of time. I wanted to make sure that I hadn't seen this before. Anyway, this is what the fire alarm in my house looks like, which is obviously not at all like the one that I've drawn. Now, so for those of you who drew it, and for those of you who drew one in your house, or for those of you who just visualized it, how close do you reckon you were? How close do you reckon you got to the actual fire alarms or smoke detectors in your house? I missed out 2 fingers. Yeah, how close do you guys reckon you were to the actual smoke detectors in your house? What do you reckon? Oh, some people are actually really close. Wow. Okay, but Kieran is saying not very. I don't often study my smoke detector, and Max is saying 60%. The Internet of Things is saying 34.7, and Lily's saying terrible, and Omnipo is saying nowhere near, I think, as well. Okay, so the reason why I wanted you to do this is because I wanted to get 1% from Maddie, 0%. This is we're all quite far off, or most of us will be quite far off. Some people might be really good at remembering it, but the thing is that most of the way that your brain works, even though we like to think that we are consciously thinking about the world around us all the time, we like to think this. Most of the time, we are not. Most of the time, we're kind of almost unconsciously drifting through everything, and everything we see and hear and so on, instead of thinking about it and really thinking about it and thinking, oh, I wonder what that looks like or feels like, and instead, what your mind much prefers to do is see a smoke detector out of the corner of its eye and be like, oh, I've seen one of those before. I'll just fill it in with this vague shape that I remember a smoke detector kind of looks like. And then you never actually properly process it. And this is true of most things in life as you go through the world, especially, and this happens as you get older and older, you stop properly appreciating things. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that more actually on a live, I think that may even be next week. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because I want to talk more about Deja vu, but I just wanted to introduce that idea to you that most of the things in the world that we think we're properly perceiving and properly focusing on, we're actually just getting a little bit of a glimpse of them, and then our brain just fills in the gap with a memory. So here is a really cool lady called Louise, and her second name is Gluck. She is a poet. Has anyone heard of Louise Gluck? Someone's asking about, Lily's asking about the Mandela Effect. I've forgotten what the Mandela Effect is. I've heard of that before, but if you remind me, then I think I know how to explain it maybe, if it's the thing I'm thinking of, but I can't remember what it is. But also I might, yeah, I can't remember what that is the name of. Anyway, so yeah, Louise Gluck, Louise, lots of you haven't heard of her. She's a poet. Speaking of poets, I'm doing another live today with Phil. It's going to be my first collab one with Phil, about how bacteria are writing poems, and that's coming up in like 3 hours or something. And that's going to be so good. It's so packed with great ideas. I'm really excited about doing that. So do come to that later. Also, I love the idea of doing one of these, like an AimHi live that is a mixture of science and English. I think it's going to be brilliant. Anyway, Louise Gluck is a poet, and she famously said these words. Let me just write them down. You see the world once as a child. The rest is just. So yeah, she said these words. You see that, and they weren't. This isn't the exact words that she said. I might be slightly off, but she said something like, "You see the world once as a child, and the rest is just memory." And she was trying to make a point of the idea that when you're a child, you see the world with a huge amount of wonder, and that makes sense biologically because you're seeing it all, and you're like, "Whoa, this is all amazing." But then you store all these memories as a child, and then you spend most of the rest of your life not properly perceiving what's around you, and instead you just kind of relate things to these memories. And Fatima is saying we should all stare at objects like children, and we should stare at objects more in the same way that children do. We should definitely like pay more attention to things around us, because actually, well, I'll tell you again, I'm doing that on a talk that I think is actually next week, and I don't want to go too far down that line. But it's a lot to do with the way that we understand time. Anyway, so let's go from Louise down to this guy, Daniel Kahneman, who's another guy that I'm going to talk about as well later on. Because, in fact, no, I know. Let's talk about him afterwards. I'm going to go over to this eye. Right. I'm going to show you how Deja vu works. Okay, so here's an eye. And this eye I found on the internet, and I thought, oh my god, that's so disgusting, and I almost didn't want to show it, but then I found out it's just a prop, because I thought it was a real eye, but it's just a prop that someone has made with incredible detail. Don't know how they make it so well. Right, okay, so here's how Deja vu works, really. Or at least this is how we think it works at the moment. So normally what happens is, you see something, so let's say that you see this delicious egg, and you're gonna think, this is a delicious egg at some stage, but before you do, or Lily's saying eggs are gross. Yeah, eggs can be gross as well. Anyway, you see this egg, and the information goes into your eyes. And then your eyes send the information to the part of your brain that is responsible for sensing vision. So this is called the Occipital Lobe, which is the bit at the back. And it's arranged in these kind of towers. These towers that all go next to one another like that. And the towers are actually, I'm going to draw the towers down here as well. The towers are all responsible for left vision, right vision, left vision, right vision, left vision, right vision, over and over again. Why do you think it makes sense for the brain to arrange the bits of brain cells that are gonna sense left vision and right vision, left vision and right vision over and over again in these towers that all come next to one another? Why does it not just have a center for left vision and an area for right vision? What do you guys reckon? And Flowery Storm is saying so we can watch 3D movies. Yeah, which is a really important point. That's basically the answer. And Get Out the Freezer is saying because brain smart. And Fatima is saying because we have two separate eyes. And Jeff is saying that Maddie, you need a new cat. Right. Okay. So here we So yeah, the reason why they're arranged like this is because then they can communicate with one another. So what you see in your left eye can be related to what you're seeing in your right eye, and over again. So it creates lots of surface area between the left sensing bit and the right sensing bit. Anyway, so you see something, the information goes to your occipital lobe, which is sensing the vision. Now, I'm going to start to draw this as a bit of a cartoon, but it will help to kind of explain how it works. So I'm going to just pick areas of the brain and kind of randomly assign them, even though it's not really completely this simple. But here I'm going to put the idea of your consciousness. So this is you being conscious of things and consciously kind of thinking about stuff. So normally what happens is, yes, the information goes in through the eye, into your occipital lobe, and then your occipital lobe sends signals to your consciousness to be like, we are consciously seeing this thing. Meanwhile, information will then be sent from your region of consciousness to a region where you were storing your memories. And again, this isn't like perfect regions at all, but I'm just drawing it as a cartoon. And your consciousness will check against memories, and your memories will be like, yep, we've seen an egg before. So yeah, Leonardo's saying it's called the frontal lobe. I'm avoiding like long names for now, because I just want to show you how the sequence works, because that's the cool bit. So yeah, your consciousness detects this, you're conscious of you seeing an egg, you check it against your memories, and your memory's like, yep, we've seen an egg before, and it sends signals back so that your brain doesn't really have to do too much work. Your brain is just like, yeah, that's an egg, I don't have to think about it, I've already spent a lot of my time in life thinking about an egg. So then you fill in most of your consciousness using memories. And that is the normal sequence that happens. And meanwhile, you have a couple of processes going on, which are sending information from your consciousness to store memories, and also information directly from your visual area to store memories as well. So you've got memories being stored from both of these regions. Right. Okay. Did that make sense to everyone? Everyone let me know if that sequence, if I should go through that sequence one more time. Leonardo's saying, I've seen eggs lots of times. Okay, it's good. Cool. Right. Okay, so that's how the sequence normally works. Now, what do you guys reckon happens when you are experiencing déjà vu? Because it's all about this sequence, and it's all about something happening differently. So Flowerstorm is saying maybe it's a bit scrambled. Rebecca's saying maybe signals are sent or received twice. Okay, right. So there have been a few ideas come in, but I think it goes first from the occipital lobe to the memory. Max, okay, this is spot on what Max is saying. So when you experience déjà vu, you see the egg, and then or you see, but it's not just an egg. It's like this specific experience of the egg with all the backdrop of like the slug that it's balanced on the top of. Or whatever the kind of specific experience is that's going on now. You see this, and it goes to your occipital lobe, which detects it, but then your occipital lobe will just store will store some information as memories, and this path here, sorry, go to it, I'm just getting that. So this path here going to your consciousness, for some reason that we don't really understand, runs slower than normal. And so you're not quite conscious of the fact that you're experiencing the egg quickly enough, because by the time you're conscious of it and you're checking it against your memories, you have a memory stored of this exact experience, or at least the fragments of a memory starting to come together. And so you get this incredible feeling, not just of I've seen this before when you get information back from your memories, but I've seen this before exactly. Like I've seen this before so similar to what I'm seeing now. It's basically the same. It's the same thing. Now, and that happens because your brain is just for some reason doing things in slightly the wrong order, and your occipital lobe is sending information to your memories just slightly too fast, and your consciousness is just running slightly too slowly. And the real kind of amazing thing about déjà vu is that is the powerful feeling that you get is the powerful feeling of familiarity, when you're like, wow, I'm comparing it's this mechanism going on here where you're checking with memories, because our brains are so used to functioning by just thinking about our memories and just kind of relating things to memories rather than thinking about things afresh for the first time. And so yeah, you experience this as if it's happened before. But the key thing about déjà vu is that when you're experiencing it, or next time you're experiencing it, if it's something that you have experienced before, try to predict what's going to happen next. Because the thing about memories is that normally when you remember something very intensely, you know the story. And so you can skip forward at any speed through the time frame that you want. You're just like, okay, that happened and then this other thing happened. But when you get deja vu, try thinking about what is going to happen next, because you know that you're experiencing the memory, but what do you think will happen if you try to work out what's going to happen next? Because I've been doing this to myself the last few times that I've experienced deja vu. I've been testing myself to see if I can figure out what's going to happen afterwards. Lily's saying that they've had double deja vu, like a deja vu of deja vu, which is amazing. That means that you're constantly storing memories faster than you're being able to be conscious of them. And Max is saying maybe you get a prolonged deja vu. Mirs is saying, does it happen more in older people? And that would probably make sense. I actually don't know the statistics about whether it happens in more in older people, but it might make sense because maybe there's something to do with the way the memories are stored more quickly in older people. But I don't know about that. And Jeff's saying maybe you'll lose the deja vu. So I don't think you'll lose it, but it's just that you won't be able to predict it. So it'll be it's a strange experience of memory. It's like this magic trick that's being cast on your brain of like, I'm sure that I've seen this before, I'm remembering it, but then as soon as you try and figure out what's coming next, you might still be experiencing the deja vu, but that's when you will realize there's no more information because you're just remembering the thing that you're seeing. You're literally, and that's the bizarre thing about it, is that you're literally remembering the thing that you are seeing right now, and you're thinking of it as significant, and you're convincing yourself that you've seen it before when actually this is the first time. And yeah, so that's it. That's how deja vu works. This was, we're running this lesson. Thanks all for coming. Do spread the word. If you haven't already followed our social media, then do please, and tell your friends about what we're doing. And join our mailing list as well, so that you can get the timetable sent to you each week. Thank you all for coming along. I'm gonna stick around just for a moment just to see what other questions there are in the chat, but otherwise I will see you all at 1 if you are around. LDBR is saying, why is it at the same time? Kieran's saying, why might someone like me get deja vu a lot, but some people never experience it? So I think that's to do with like the biology, and that some people just have like slightly different makeup in their brains, a slightly different way that their brain is made. And so in the same way that some people find it easier to learn languages. God, I'm so bad at learning languages. In some ways it might be a skill, it's just a kind of quirk of the human mind. Because you only need that storing to memories part to happen slightly faster, and then you get deja vu. So I guess some people would have it even stronger than others if they're storing memories even faster than they're conscious of them. Lily's saying, how come our brains malfunction like that, but we don't get other malfunctions as often? Well, actually we do. We get loads of malfunctions all the time. It's just that the thing about deja vu is that your brain really makes a point of it being a big deal to you, because the way that our brains are running all the time is that we're perceiving stuff that's happened we're relating stuff that we're seeing now to stuff that's happened in the past, and that is the key way that our brains work. And I'm going to talk more about that next week, I think, when I talk about I think it's called Is Time the Same for Everyone, but I'm going to talk about this guy Daniel Kahneman as well. But yeah, the thing about deja vu is that our brains make a real point of bringing it to our attention that it's happening, because it's a malfunction that happens on such an important kind of railroad of our brain, comparing stuff to things that's happened in the past. And Japan Maple is saying, so my speedy brain gives me deja vu. Exactly. Yeah, it's all about the speeds happening in different times. Right. Okay. I think that's all the questions. But I might have missed one. But anyway, I should go because I'm going to get ready the next one. Yes, thank you all for coming, and I will see you all later on for the one with Phil. All right. Ciao. Bye.